Hey guys, welcome. So I will not deny this, the game dev market has been looking pretty scary recently. In 2023, 10,000 jobs were lost in the industry, and in 2024, between January and September, already 13,000 jobs have been lost. So this industry is experiencing some mass layoffs. AI technology is advancing at an unprecedented rate, and regardless of how you feel about AI, it's going to continue to improve, and it seems more and more likely that jobs like programming and art and even music are going to become obsolete to this technology. And yet, at the same time, competition continues to go up as well. An average of 40 games are released on Steam every single day, and this rising number shows no signs of slowing down. Last year, Unity was the center of a lot of drama because of how they announced their runtime fee, and more recently, Godot has become the center of drama for massive amounts of blocking people online. All of this to say, it's really easy to take all of this, all the negative news in the industry, maybe the drama with an engine that you're using, or just the unknown of the future because of AI. It's easy to take any or all of those things and just let it completely deflate your morale. And making games is already difficult enough without all this negative news flying around. But despite everything that I just said, I want to tell you that I think right now is the very best time to get into game dev. If anything, there's literally never been a better time. And I'm going to give you 5 reasons to convince you. Number 1 is that game engines have never been so affordable. So Godot is 100% free, and it always will be because it's completely open source. So if Godot is your engine, you will never owe them a dime. Despite whatever negative PR drama they're going through right now, it is an amazing tool to help you create games, and it's been rapidly growing in popularity. Unity has completely abolished their runtime fee, but they're keeping the raised revenue caps, which means that you only have to buy a pro license if you make $200,000 a year or more. And Unreal recently announced that they are dropping their 5% royalties to 3.5%, so long as the dev also launches their game on the Epic Games Store, even if it's also available on other platforms. Competition among all 3 of these game engines is at an all-time high because the market share has become a lot more even for the 3 of them now, which honestly is only good news for game developers. Competition breeds innovation, always. Number 2 is that there is access to free or cheap resources everywhere. There has never in the history of game development ever been so many free or cheap resources available. You can find free and copyright-free music, sound effects, code, shaders, art, as well as just a bunch of learning resources everywhere. GitHub is full to the brim of amazing projects that are license-free that you can just grab and learn from or use in your games. If there was ever a time where you did not need to reinvent the wheel for every single thing, it would be now. And even if you can't find what you're looking for free, chances are, no matter which game engine you use, there's going to be a marketplace or an online asset store that's going to have fairly cheap assets available for you to purchase. There's so much free stuff available online, and I'll even give you an example. I use Canva almost every single day. Nikki makes the art for our games, but sometimes with the code, I'm ahead of her and I need something in the game in order to make sure that everything's working properly. So I'll just hop into Canva and grab some placeholder art so that at least I have something in the game to make sure that everything is working correctly. It's way better than just working with squares or circles. And then when Nikki catches up and gives me the art, I can just swap them out. Number 3 is that AI is making games easier to make. AI is kind of a tough subject to talk about because there's always a bit of a fear with the unknown, and no one really knows where this tech is going or what the end result is going to look like in 5 or 10 or 20 years. All I know is that right now, you can very much use AI to help you make your game faster. And I'll give you an example. I use ChatGPT when I'm coding every single day. Every day, I use it to debug my code. I use it as a sounding board when I'm designing some complex system I'm about to create to make sure that I don't waste any time. I ask it questions when I don't understand something. I learn new things from it, and sometimes when I'm exhausted or really lazy, even when I know how to code what I want to do, I'll just tell it to do it for me because it saves me energy. Do I feel threatened that it can spit out code at lightning speed and make me feel stupid on a daily basis? Yes, sometimes I do. But honestly, it has helped me master some coding practices much faster than I otherwise would have. My whole point here is it helps me create faster. That is all I care about in the end, is I want to use any tools available to me to help me improve efficiency. Number 4, a lot of your competition is going to be weak. I remember reading quite a long time ago an article about why are so many crappy games made with the Unity game engine. This is when Unity completely dominated the indie scene, and it was just about the engine that every single indie developer used. And it had nothing to do with Unity itself, really. The point of the article is that at the time, Unity was such an effective tool that it was making creating games easier for developers. And because the process of creating games suddenly got easier, there was suddenly a whole slew of half-baked games made by inexperienced developers being thrown onto Steam. And I would say the same argument applies with everything that's happening in the industry right now. With mass amounts of AI technology continuing to improve every single day, and so many amazing game engines that continue to get better and better by the day, as well as just free or cheap tools and assets available everywhere online, games just continue to get easier and easier to make. It's still difficult, but they're getting easier. Now, that's already a pro for you as a developer, but it also means that a lot more half-baked games are going to continue to get released to Steam. That trend is clearly not going anywhere. It's only going to increase. That is my definition of weak competition. If you continue to work and learn and buckle down and master your craft, that competition, the one that continues to take so many shortcuts, they are not going to be able to touch you. And number 5 is the rise of the indie game. Right now, there is a very distinct and definitive lack of unique content being made by AAA studios. I always think of Call of Duty when it comes to this. I don't even dislike Call of Duty, it's just a really easy target to pick on because it feels like I turn around and every other month there's a new Call of Duty game being released. And Activision keeps pumping them out over and over because Call of Duty is a safe financial cash cow. Now, I don't really think there's anything wrong with studios wanting to make money. That's how they stay afloat, that's how they pay their employees, that's all good. The negative side of this, though, is that they are going to shy away from new or unique ideas. New IPs are more rare, and they're going to continue to become more rare because squeezing every last drop of a proven formula is just an easier way for a studio to make money. Now, we're talking about AAA companies here, but on the other side of the spectrum, there are a lot of indie games that come out that are not that great. And there are indie games that come out that are just too similar to other games or other indie games. There is a hunger from gamers that want fresh, quality games. They don't have to be 60 hours long. They don't have to be 40 hours long. They don't have to be 20 hours long. You can craft a game that will give people a unique, fun experience for 3, 5, maybe even if you're lucky, 10 hours, and then they can move on to the next game, and that's okay. All these changes in the industry, the unknowns, the drama, none of this has to be a bad thing. It's easy to let it crush your morale, but the reality is that the industry is changing very rapidly. It's evolving, it's adapting, it has to. Getting into game dev now, becoming a part of the industry while these changes are happening is only going to make you better. If you wait and stick around for the dust to settle, then you are going to be miles behind the guys that stuck around while the changes were going on and just powered through during that transition period. If you want to start making video games, right now is the best time in history. There has never been a better time to start. That's all I got.